So guys, first trade recap. Yeah, this is the trade I ended up actually losing today. Trading forex pound versus dollar. I guess it was actually my first live account trade. Like I said, ended up losing, and we're gonna walk through basically what I do from start to finish, from market open to taking the trade. And first off, I started out with marking out previous day highs and lows, and then I go into 4 hour, basically just mark out high time frame draws and liquidity that we can be aiming for. Yeah, I'm just dropping down, usually go onto the 15 minute, and then I tend to mark out session highs and lows. So I don't know why Asian session isn't there, but I don't know, I would have marked out Asian session high, Asian session low, London low, London high, and then I didn't mark out New York, obviously, because I traded in New York session. But yeah, so I was bearish, obviously, and we'll go through why I was bearish. Well, we had Asian session coming up, taking out, filling this imbalance. So if you guys have probably heard over the weekend about what's happening with US, Iran, and all of that stuff. So this is like, the gap made over the weekend. We've come up, we've filled that gap, well, majority. We've tapped into that gap, and then we've pushed down lower, taking out. No, I'm not going to scroll over there, but one 4 hour low here, and then two relative equal lows as we push into London session, and we made another relatively equal low to this low here. With that, I call this basically, we manipulated, Asian session manipulated this imbalance and reversed out of that. We had London session kind of continued that that movement, and then we came back up, and then we had New York session manipulating into, no, what happened? London session manipulated again. We came back up into this imbalance, into this high time frame imbalance. Sorry, I'm forgetting what's going on. But yeah, this imbalance here, we had London session come back up into here. And my idea is we left these two lows. We're coming up to take out more liquidity, fill more orders before carrying on lower and taking out these lows. Another thing, we kind of went straight below previous day lows. So that is one thing I don't like. In this case, I would never really want to trade like bullishly, to go for longs back up into the previous day area. And then yeah, so that's why I was bearish. And then obviously going into New York session, looking to enter into a trade. We had this breaker structure here, so we had this low just here. It's a bit messy, the chart, but I'll redraw it later. So yeah, we broke a structure just here as we're coming into New York session. I then moved down onto the 5 minute time frame, and I'm looking for entry confluences because the 50-minute breaker structure was the continuation confluence. We then had, obviously, this move came back up into this imbalance. This is where I drew out equilibrium. This magnet shit's pissing me off. But yeah, we come back up into equilibrium, into the discounted price range, tapped into this imbalance, pushed down lower. Most often, usually I would be entering here on this candle closure, but as this imbalance is here, I thought, why not wait until we inverse this fair value gap to create, obviously, an inverse fair value gap, and then that's an extra confluence, and I can take it, being more confident here, because, what if we tap into here and we carry on higher? I could just waited one more candle to see what happened, so I did for that. I then move into my 15-minute time frame to look for stop losses. Usually I just aim for the 15-minute, like basically the closest 15-minute point of liquidity. In this case, this 50-minute point of liquidity was just getting created as I was entering, and I don't tend to like entering off of, like a very newly created point of liquidity. So I went on the next one, and then 2 pips above for the spread. In this case, I got stopped out pretty much straight away, which is a little bit gutting, to be honest. The main reason why I think I lost, to be honest, is it's a Monday, and we've just had all this news coming off the weekend, and I tend to like the previous day to have a larger move. So instead of a what's this 68 pip movement of the previous day, let's say it was however big, like say it was something like that, then I feel like I can trade within this gap and aim to either a high or aim to a low. I don't like trading outside of this gap and then back into it or back down towards it, which is something I'm kind of building my strategy on. Maybe I shouldn't be taking live account trades from that, in this sort of situation, but then again, we're still just learning. That's kind of the main thing I'm thinking about into this. Fuck off, cap cut. Yeah, that's the main thing in this. I wouldn't trade another Monday, when this sort of news has just happened. We didn't completely fill this imbalance here. We're not targeting this imbalance. We're trading out of the imbalance. We don't really have a clear direction. Well, I thought we had a clear direction, but looking back at it now, obviously we didn't, as we did just consolidate instead. This fucking thing's bouncing the bottom, pissing me off. Yeah. Hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully you guys come back, have another look, and can implement this sort of stuff into your trading. Don't make the same mistakes as me, and we can learn together. All right, I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.